Sometimes chaos shows up without warning. Everything is going fine, the mood is calm, when suddenly, something goes wrong in a spectacular way. It is in that exact instant that someone, by luck or bad luck, is filming. That is how those videos are born that mix fright and laughter, scenes captured seconds before everything falls apart. Whether it is containers crashing down or a plane at a gender reveal party almost destroying the celebration, these moments show that disaster loves to appear when you least expect it. That is exactly what we are going to see here today. At the terminal of the port operator of Las Palmas, the day had barely started when a metallic noise took over the port. It was a little after 7:30 in the morning when 4 giant containers plunged from a ship straight down onto a truck that was waiting just below. The driver, who was inside the cab, noticed the danger at the right moment and ran out, leaving everything behind. It was a close call. If he had taken a few more seconds, the outcome would have been different. The containers, each 12 meters long, fell in sequence, making the ground shake and kicking up a cloud of dust. Those who were nearby thought the crane had collapsed. An employee even commented that he had never seen anything like it in all his years working at the port. The worst part is that the problem started in a silly way. One of the containers bumped into the ones that were still on the ship, and the pushing and shoving ended with everything on the ground. The driver, on the other hand, probably went home swearing never again to park under a crane. In Sonora, in Mexico, a party that was supposed to be pure joy almost turned into a tragic headline. It all started when a couple decided to have a classic gender reveal party, but with an aerial touch. They hired a little plane to release blue smoke in the sky and show that a boy was on the way. The idea seemed good until the pilot decided to make a low flyby that made everyone duck and scream at the same time. The strong wind messed everything up. Balloons took off, tablecloths went flying, and the cake almost ended up on the ground. The worst part is that the plane flew so low that the fright was general. The pilot managed to regain control and fly on, but he came very close to hitting the couple themselves. Even with their hearts racing, the guests kept clapping, pretending that nothing too serious had happened. But those who were there know very well the chill in the stomach it caused. The blue smoke appeared, the baby was revealed, and along with it, a story that nobody there is going to forget anytime soon. The morning seemed normal in Bangkok until the ground simply opened up in the middle of one of the city's busiest avenues. The hole appeared in front of Vajira Hospital and brought traffic to a halt instantly. In just a few moments, a huge crater, about 50 meters deep and almost 900 square meters in area, swallowed what was above it. 2 power poles and a police tow truck fell straight down inside, while other vehicles managed to get away just in time. The video, recorded by someone who was there, shows the moment when the asphalt collapses, taking everything on top with it. Thai authorities reported that the problem began because of subway construction work happening in the area. A pipe burst, and the ground could not hold. The mayor went to the site and said that crews managed to contain further collapses. The city was left without water, without power, and with a hole that became an attraction, at least until they managed to cover up the disaster. It was supposed to be one of those amazing barbecues. The man prepared everything: seasoned pig, old metal drum, and strong fire. The idea sounded good, roasting the animal in a different way. But as soon as the flames really caught, things spun out of control. The fire rose so high it looked like a furnace from the underworld. The guy still tried to take a peek, thinking lunch was getting to the perfect point. After a while, when the heat eased off, he lifted the drum carefully, full of hope. And then came the surprise. The pig had turned into pure charcoal. It was not even good enough for soup anymore. The man could not understand it. What was supposed to be a barbecue ended up turning into a live lesson on how not to cook in the middle of the woods. Among the mountains of Nepal, a suspension bridge became the stage for one of those moments that make your heart jump out of your chest. It was supposed to be a simple tourist stroll on the famous Gandaki Golden Bridge, which connects Baglung to Parbat. But the video that spread around shows a scene that makes your hands sweat. The 567-meter structure started to sway hard while several people tried to cross. While some clung to the cables, others screamed and tried to keep their balance. The bridge hangs over the Kali Gandaki River, and the height is enough to make anyone rethink their life choices. The worst part is that the landscape is so beautiful that many people take the risk just to get a good photo. The place is a well-known tourist spot full of visitors, especially during the Dashen and Tihar festivals. During the day, the view is breathtaking, and at night, lit up, it looks even more beautiful. But, as the video showed, just a slightly stronger breeze is enough to turn the crossing into a real test of courage. It was noon in Mar del Plata when a loaded tanker truck went down Guanahani Street, between Edison Avenue and Aka Street, and everything seemed normal until the vehicle gave a slight wobble and the driver realized something was wrong. Within seconds, the truck started to lose control, skidded, and tipped onto its side, spilling a flood of filth all over the asphalt. The problem is believed to have started when the axle of the truck broke right on top of a speed bump. The driver tried to hold it, but the weight of the load pulled everything to the side. The vehicle even hit 4 motorcycles that were parked near a frozen food company, leaving their owners looking like people who had just watched their loss up close. Soon, sirens began to echo. Patrol cars arrived, fire trucks, and even a backhoe sent by City Hall. Firefighters tried to contain the spilled liquid, while the driver, still dazed, underwent a breathalyzer test that luckily came back negative. After hours of cleaning with chlorine and a lot of running around, the street was cleared. The session of the Mexican Senate was almost over when everything fell apart. The mood was already tense. The debate over a possible military intervention by the United States in the country had everyone's nerves on edge, until Alejandro Moreno stood up, angry, and went straight toward the president of the Senate, Gerardo Fernandez Noronha. No one really understood what happened. While the national anthem was playing, Moreno grabbed Noronha's arm and started an argument that turned into a fight worthy of a boxing ring. Suddenly, a man in a suit tried to hit Noronha. Another in a green shirt was pushed and fell to the floor, taking down the 360-degree camera that was filming. The worst part is that the poor guy came out injured with his arm in a sling and a neck brace. After the commotion, Moreno went on social media to say that he had only reacted because Noronha's party had changed the agenda to silence the opposition. The live broadcast caught everything, and the video became the big topic of the day. It looked like a political session, but it ended up more like a bar fight with suits and ties. The party on a farm in La Palma, in Novelado, in the state of Sinaloa, had everything to be a joyful day. A couple was waiting for the most anticipated moment, finding out the baby's gender. To do something big, they decided to hire a plane to release colored smoke in the air. But the celebration ended in a way no one imagined. The small Cessna flew over the place while the guests recorded the moment. The couple posed, smiling, when the plane began to release pink smoke. It was a girl, but seconds later, the aircraft jolted strangely and climbed too sharply. The left wing folded and the plane plunged toward a nearby field. While some screamed in despair, others still did not understand what was happening. The pilot, identified as Luis Angel, was rescued alive, but he did not survive his injuries. It was an ordinary night in Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, when a young man decided to cross the street in the wrong place and ended up becoming worldwide news. He was running in a hurry along Svitrigailo Street when a bus appeared at high speed. The result was a truly cinematic scare. The impact was so strong that the guy was thrown far away. But the most unbelievable part is that he simply got up, straightened his clothes, and walked away as if nothing had happened. The driver, in shock, braked hard, and 2 passengers inside the bus were injured. They were treated and are doing fine. The worst part is that the young man vanished. He left the scene without talking to anyone. And to this day, the police are trying to figure out who he is. The cameras in the area recorded the exact moment, and those who saw it swear it looked like an action movie scene, only with an ending more absurd than any Hollywood script. It was an ordinary morning in Chongqing, in China, until everything turned into tragedy in a few seconds. Inside a bus crossing a high bridge over the Yangtze River, a 48-year-old passenger began to argue with the driver because she had missed her stop. Irritated, she walked up to the front of the vehicle and started to fight with him. The driver tried to defend himself while still driving. He turned his head several times to argue, and, in the middle of the commotion, took a blow to the head from the passenger's cell phone. No one expected what would come next. The driver, furious, took one hand off the wheel and tried to grab her arm. At that that instant, the bus veered out of its lane, crossed into oncoming traffic, and plunged off the bridge straight into the river. The accident happened in Guangzhou, and the result was devastating. 13 people lost their lives. Footage from the internal cameras showed the tense mood seconds before the disaster, and those who saw the video said it looked like a scene that was impossible to believe. The worst part is that it all started because of a simple missed stop. One mistake, one impulse, and an argument that lasted only a few seconds ended up changing the fate of everyone on board. During a calm flight over Pero Beach in Cabo Frio, in the state of Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil, environmentalist and documentary filmmaker Ernesto Galeotto went through one of the biggest scares of his life. He was filming the coastline of the state of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil for an environmental project when the wind decided to play a trick. His cell phone simply slipped out of his hand and fell from the plane, straight down from 300 meters up. The panic was immediate. He said he did not know what to do, watching the device disappear into the air as if it were a rebellious little bird. But the ending was like something out of a soap opera. The next day, Ernesto used the tracker and went to the Pero Dunes, where he found the phone completely intact, still working, and still with the full video of the fall. According to him, it almost felt like nature had given him a little help. The worst part is that the video became a hit on the internet, and those who watched said it looked like a radical ride, except the main character was the cell phone itself. Paul Yearly thought it would be just another calm trip in his 2004 Ford Mustang, but fate had other plans and a dash camera ready to record everything. While he drove along a road in the United States, he began to feel unwell, blurred vision, ringing in his ears, and a dizziness that seemed endless. Within seconds, he blacked out completely. The car left the road and went down an embankment. The curious part is that the dash camera kept recording everything, including the moment the vehicle went down out of control. After a few seconds of the car moving, Paul regained consciousness and managed to get control back, still a bit lost, but alive. Later, doctors explained that he had fainted because of a blood pressure problem he did not even know he had. However, the insurance company found a way to dodge the payout, and he had to pay for the car repairs out of his own pocket. Even so, he restored the Mustang and said the video ended up serving as a warning for other people. Everything seemed calm in the Mittelstadt backyard. It was late afternoon, and the sound of a chainsaw broke the silence of the woods. A man in a red t-shirt was trying to bring down a tree. The problem is that the calculation was off, badly off. While he was cutting away, the trunk started to creak, and suddenly, the sound changed. The tree came crashing down with full force onto a small blue car parked right next to it. It was one huge crash. The car practically turned into a lump of twisted metal and glass, and the owner stood there staring, unable to believe the damage. Maybe next time it will be worth thinking twice before cutting down a tree with a car parked that close. See that guy getting out of the car? Well, it is a miracle he survived. The driver, identified as Mr. Li, 29 years old, was on his way to work in Zhuhai, in Guangdong province, when the improbable happened. A huge construction crane collapsed right on top of his white Audi. The impact was so strong that the vehicle was completely destroyed. Even so, the man managed to climb out through the roof, covered in dust, and not really understanding what had happened. He was taken to the hospital, and according to doctors, despite the fractures, he survived. Investigations found that the crane lost its balance and toppled over suddenly, without any warning. Lee said he did not see anything. He only heard a noise, and when he realized it, he was already surrounded by twisted metal. It was a close call, and he knows it very well. On the highway between Paragominas and Julianopolis, in the southeastern part of the state of Para, in Brazil, the day began like any other until a tanker truck decided to turn the asphalt into an action movie set. The vehicle was involved in an accident, and within minutes, fire began to take over the tank. Those driving by did not know whether to stop or speed up. The truck exploded with such force that the bright flash filled the road, and thick black smoke rose like a warning signal to anyone still nearby. The fire department rushed to the scene and managed to control the flames after a long, tense effort. Luckily, no one was injured. The delivery guy showed up calm, box in hand, ready to leave the order at the door and carry on with his day. Everything seemed normal until a bark coming out of nowhere made the guy jump like a cat on a hot tin roof. From behind the gate, a dog appeared, absolutely determined to show who was in charge there. The man took off running down the sidewalk. The worst part is that the chase turned into a movie-worthy scene. The dog behind, the delivery guy in front, trying to keep his breath under control. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.